You know, I haven't come in to try and stop the rot in some way. I've come in to see whether there are ways in which parliamentary governance can be improved.
It's quite obvious that at the present rate of payments that we're doing with the Manx state pension, that the National Insurance Fund is going to deplete and run out around the 2050s.
Driving the simulator, you have the opportunity to drive from, first of all, from Port St Mary to Port Erin. What you have to do, fill a form in? I mean, is it just a chat?
You had to fill in a form and then get grilled by a trio of people. I leave them to, you can probably guess who they were, but it's not for me to say at this stage. They took a decision.
Culmination of several months of quite hard work and a lot of tea.
But obviously preparations have gone fantastically well. We've just been on the final touches now and everything will come together for a great day.
The decision itself has been an extremely difficult one to take. You know, I've been in the House of Keys for 32 years, Ramsey Commissioners for over 7 years, so that's nearly 40 years in total in public life.
It's not the first time we've been shortchanged, and that's why I asked Tynwald to have this committee to look into the value that we actually get from the BBC.
But on a personal note, you know, I think really, you know, what I have to say is, as I've said to many people, I don't really class myself as a politician.
So it's been a very long process, but 4 years ago we had the good fortune to receive a very, very generous grant from a local charity, which enabled us to start on this.
We've had a discreet practice when you weren't around, and we've also sometimes lent them out for ploughing, and we'll use a pair of horses to plough together.
Sadly, we made a decision that we would not be able to complete this in time for Vision 9 to take over for next TT.
We had hoped to relocate the post office in our existing Spar store down the road, but having listened to public feeling and other bodies on the Isle of Man, we felt it was only right to look at an alternative premise.
If it was just the roads that they were doing, well, I think many people would maybe understand that. But it's taken down the sandstone wall, which has stood there for a number of years.
Of course, there is a challenge, and you've got various stakeholders that we really have to meet the needs of. First and foremost are the public, our listeners.
The Pinewood Media Fund can help the channel owners develop more sophisticated programmes when they come to the island, and by offering a package of obviously the general grant support, but also funding for programming.
We did a master plan for the area, showing housing in Newtown Centre, lots of commercial biomedical centres. So we've incorporated everything that's been mentioned to us into the master plan.
But the exciting bit we've been hearing about is there's going to be television play out, and there's a fund, of course, the government fund, which is now refocused from film into television, that could make it very attractive for broadcasters to move their operations here and make programmes here.
Demand is growing and growing and growing, and we decided we need 3 more apartments.
In the end, we're still looking for this to become a major educational centre for the island.
How do you describe this government? National unity? What is your overall view for Coman and the government?
I think it's one where we're working together for the people of the Isle of Man.
It's a long-term partnership that gives it a sustainable use. That's hugely important for any business development, not just that you spend the money on getting it there in the first place, that it carries on running, and clearly having customers and so on is part of that process.
You look around, it is a really lovely place. I don't know whether it had a bad reputation or what. It was popular with the locals, but obviously not popular enough for the brewery.
As we see on the north end of Prom, on the carriageway, it's got so bad that we actually need to do something now. So that's, I've instructed that we actually improve the ride quality, so that's going to happen over the next few months.
Business, that's first priority was to ensure it had a long-term future. And we've been working through that over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of getting the debt down.
But there are certain challenges out there in the big wide world. We've got Brexit, a new unexpected president-elect in President Trump, and we've got to be prepared for all those measures. But at the same time, we carry on with the work. There was a 10-year plan put in place to reduce the government deficit from 200 million down to a modest surplus. We're on track with that, but there's an awful lot of work to be done.
A lot of people still saying, though, I suppose that, and I think your past minister is also on record with an interview with me saying that Ende is a waste of money because you will have to take this up in the next year or two anyway. So what do you say to that?
Well, at the end of the day, it's got to such a bad quality, and the time's gone on and on and on that we have to do something. It's damage to cars and to ride quality. It's literally very important that we do move forward with this.
As it stands at the minute, we understand through a number of press and media, and seems to be quite widely known, that Comyn voted to end the TT process last Thursday.
How on earth did Mr Topham, Vision 9, get treated so disrespectfully, in the sense that he had found out, quite unofficially, that he wasn't going to be able to move forward with the Isle of Man government on the proposals? And we learnt this from you.
It's a new concept. We're expanding on what we did back in July when we launched the outdoor cinema.
Well, I mean, look at them, Paul. They just look like abandoned boxes all the way up the road. It's quite a busy country road, but it is a country road. It does link parts of the parish together.
It seems to be established on the first floor, had spread into the roof, but with the actions of the fire crews, what we've managed to do is bring it under control